So, hey, what's up, y'all? Back again. Uh, so prison, yeah, prison is a place. Everything is up close and in your face. Racial division, um, every kind of social stereotype. It's sociology 101. You deal with all kinds of people from all walks of life. You meet every kind of hustler you could possibly think of in there. I laugh out here in the world where people come up to me and they try to hustle me for $1, $2 to tell me a sob story, and most of the time I'm polite. I'm like, thank you. I don't have any cash, whatever. But when I first got out, I'd only been out a couple months, had finally gotten a job and got a vehicle shortly after getting a job and, worked for everything I had, got my own apartment. I was hustling. I hit the ground running, trying to make up for lost time. People, you go to the gas station, they say, "Oh man, so you get $1." Some sob story. I feel like, man, are you fucking crazy? I've been out of prison 3 months. I work. Everything I got, I work for. I got this truck by myself. I got a job. I work for it. I work 7 days a week. And you gonna come and ask me for go get a job, man. Get up out of my face, man. Don't talk to me. And they be okay. Hey, sorry about that, man. They didn't really want to hear all that shit. They just wanted $1. And I was an asshole who gave him a speech. I got up on a soapbox. I couldn't comprehend. And as I've been out longer, it's all, 95% of the time it's a hustle. Most of the people that are genuinely in need aren't standing on a corner holding up a sign. The ones that are usually just out there trying to, get some money for their alcohol, cigarettes. I used to live right in the corner from a bunch of those bums down the corner. And every night they were partying and shit. They had like a whole crew of them. They had like a gang of bums. And they worked the corner and they controlled the corner at this northwest side of Houston. And interesting to see how the little community works. But yeah, prison, it's a microcosm of sociology. It's sociology 101. You learn all kinds of stuff, see all kinds of hustles, deal with all kinds of things. The most prevalent sociological thing that I dealt with in prison was the racial aspect. Racism is crazy. It's all over the place in there. I mean, it runs rampant. It's a tool. It's a tool that's it's used as uh, racism. I'm gonna touch on that on a larger macrocosm ish scale out here in the free world, as we as we put it in prison. But yeah, racism. It's a tool to control. They advocate it, they endorse it, they encourage it. In prison, they put you in situations where it flourishes. Um, it's not and basically, when the whites and the Mexicans and the blacks and the Mexicans or the whites and the blacks are all looking at each other, it's the way that you can go onto a dorm, you know, go into a wing where there's 200 people and 3 guards that control all of them, and they control them because, the inmates will never stand together and say, well, hey, if we all come together, what are these guards going to do? They can't do nothing, And I mean, you go to some places like California and a few other states, and that's how it is. I mean, there's racial division, but they will come together to stand against the guards and make something happen, and that's how it works. In Texas, though, the racial division is, I mean, it's so tense and thick you can cut it with a butter knife, and so yeah, I spent 11 and a half years in that melting pot, and first couple years I was, I was pretty anti, yeah, anti, anti-black. I was anti-black, mainly because, like, you know, all of the all black people in there had this whole, whole ass whitey did this and fucking white people did this to me and that, and and they have this victim complex, and in prison I'm the minority, and so the tables turn, and it's they all want to you know check a whole ass white boy. And uh, so white people have it pretty hard in there. I don't care what nobody says. We are the minority in prison, and half of the white people in prison come from suburbia America and don't know shit about fighting or standing up for themselves or whatever, except for what they've seen on TV. And so a lot of them will succumb to the pressure, which makes it even harder. We're already a minority, even with the weak ones. And so then the weak ones break, and, the black people or the Hispanic people realize that they can, like, break this dude and make his rich ass family send money in so that they can use it to buy commissary and eat good with all their homeboys. And so every white dude that comes through there, it's like another meal ticket. It's like that, oh shit, here's some more money. Who's going to get this guy? And then the white dude that's not going to put up with it. It's like, oh shit, you gotta fight twice as hard, get him off me. And, you gotta fight twice as hard, just let it be known, hey, I'm not that white guy, shit, you can't have mine, and, so it's like a badge of honor. And then at that point, once you get that far, the white groups, which majority of them are some sort of racist group, Aryan Circle, Aryan Brotherhood, White Knights, Woodpile, things like that. Um, you know, I say, man, yeah, you're down wood, man. Come kick it with us. So it begins, and the racial division and the racism is uh, it's everywhere. And the my first couple years, um, I started to just hate, you know, because I got my ass whipped when I first got locked up, all because I was white, you know. But then after a couple years, I had a cellie. His name was Reginald Greer. He's a black dude from Greens Point, Guns Point. Call it Guns Point here in Houston. But cool dude. Good people. Christian cat, and just general good people. And he and I, we'd go out and we'd work out. We start working out together. And just a great disposition, all around. Not really hating anybody. Just a good guy. And he and I worked out a while, and got to hanging out together, and we lived right next to each other. And after a while, actually we didn't live next to each other. Anyway, we were in the same dorm. But some spots in prison have dorms. Some spots in prison have like prison cells. It just depends on where you're at. I've been on both. But we were on a dorm. We were on the same row, and and I kind of thought to myself, I was like, man, what would happen if some of my boys came in and started jumping on Reggie? You know, because in prison you get in where you fit in, and you get your people's back. You know, and that's just how it is. And I thought to myself, man, what would I do if they jumped on my boy Reggie? I like Reggie. Reggie's cool. He's not you know, it's not someone you can really hate. He's just a good guy. Skin color be damned. And it's like I started to change my perspective at that point, and say, okay, all right, now I'm no different than the black guys that I'm hating right now because they're trying to beat me up just because I'm white, and no point in perpetuating the division and the tension, and I kept it real. I stayed down, I was affiliated for a while, and I was down for my people, and I associate mine. After Reggie, I just made it a point not to make too many friends with black people because I didn't want to be putting the cross on that. I didn't want to, I didn't want to have to choose between, being a pariah in prison or staying down for mine and having everybody's respect. I was cool with black people. I was cool with Hispanic people. I got along with everybody, but I just never got too close to any black people after that. Just so I wouldn't have to, if ever it went down, I wouldn't have to choose between friendship or my race. Um, and that having been said, I wasn't pro racial division, and the more I read, the more I came to understand and realize that the racial division was, advocated by the guards to control us. The more I let go of it, the more I and I look at it outside. Out here you have racial division in the real world, and then you have class warfare. Um, on a microcosm. I think that's a word. Microcosm, macrocosm. On a macro scale, everything's micro in prison. Out here, it's macro. Um, but yeah, you There's class warfare, money warfare, racial warfare, the division. It's advocated by the powers that be, the invisible powers that be, and there's so many ways to be divided, so many ways to click up and separate and look at the other side. Christians against the non-Christians, blacks against the whites, rich against the poor, unions against the non-unions, and it's all a way to keep everybody, going with this continued strife, and just like in there, they use it out here to control, because if you're fighting and looking at the, having strife with or tension with the next guy, you're not actually looking at what the politicians are doing to us, taking from us, smoke and mirrors. The Republicans and Republicans and Democrats. That's a big one. That's some gang banging shit right there. Um, some fake ass gang banging. But those Republicans and Democrats. I mean, they're working towards the same goal behind closed doors. They're like going to tea parties and shit. And I say tea parties. Going to parties. I don't think they drink. I don't think they do tea parties in America, but except when we started the revolution against Britain, or unless you are a Brit. But no, yeah, the Republicans and the Democrats, that's the biggest. And that's the biggest hoax right there, and then you get the left wing and right wing. And man, I'm so not left wing. And I mean, so many of these ideas that that everybody clings to and fights. And I mean, I can agree to disagree on some things. I can vehemently disagree on a lot of things. I think some people are just freaking idiots. But that having been said, everybody's different. Nobody's going to agree on everything. But the Republicans and Democrats, they're working for the same goal. They're doing the same thing. They're on the same team. They're just there to make you think you have a choice over this side or that side, that you have a say so over what's happening in America, that you have a say so over um, your destiny. And as far as they're concerned, you don't. I know. If you look into it and just start reading and watching, there's plenty of stuff on YouTube. Storm Clouds Gathering, it's got some good stuff. Um, um, See some good videos. I like Storm Clouds Gathering. They do a lot of references to hey, read this book, read this guy, see what this guy says, so they don't just throw stuff out there. They go, oh, well, if you look at this and you look at that and you go read this and you go read that, they back it up with facts, which to me makes all the difference in the world. Anybody can tell you what to think or what you should or shouldn't think, but to actually go and to back it up with references to where you can check it out yourself and validate it or invalidate it. That way you can form a critical thought process of where um, where you want to go mentally, spiritually, in life. Yeah, prison. Um, Seeing how they controlled us in prison, kind of opened my eyes. And I mean, it's not like you have to go to prison to see it. There's a lot of people that have never been to prison and can see the division out here in the free world and how they control the masses. All you know, the strife and the hate towards all the different groups and factions is, although there's very valid points, I'm not invalidating anybody's point. I myself am pro Second Amendment conservative, pro death penalty, pro life, don't believe in abortion, things along those lines. But these are all points of contention that they use to divide. And I find myself getting caught up in the rhetoric myself, I'll get caught up in talking bad about Obama, although at the same time, I believe Obama is in cahoots with Bush and all these other people. They all work together. I really truly believe that, but I catch myself, man, yeah, Obama, I don't like that guy. You know, Worst president ever, which I do think he's the worst president ever. But, it's not just Obama. I think politics is a general rule. I don't think Bush was that good either. I don't think Clinton was good. I think Bush Senior was good. I like some of Reagan's economic policies, but Reagan did some bad shit too. You know, I mean, they've kind of, I kind of, they've kind of made him an icon for the conservative Republican um, thought process. But he did some crazy stuff too with the wars and, anyways, yeah. So just throwing out the prison thing, man, and I mean, I can go on all kinds of different crazy stuff, and I think I'll take the opportunity to tell some stories and whatnot from time to time, and revert back to it or use analogies and stuff, because everything I do, everything I think about, everything I speak on, my experiences in prison, things I went through, um, a lot of my opinions and thought processes I developed in there from the lots of amounts of times to read and things like that. I mean, I have a little bit of college education, but I just done a lot of reading, and so it's relevant to my YouTube channel and things I speak about. So I just thought I'd throw it out there. I'm a convicted felon, reformed, don't break the law anymore. Um, but that's it. I am done on my soapbox today. It's almost time to get off of work. So much for my short segments. Maybe my segments will just start being longer. Because I know attention spans and all that. Even I myself won't sit and watch too long of a YouTube channel. Here I am still talking at 16 minutes and 45, 46, 47 seconds. So, yeah, I'm going to cut this short. I'm rambling. I can go on and on, but I'll pick stuff back up again and touch on a few things. Touch on racism. Oh man, I can go on and on about that. I'll pick up some racism, and we'll touch on that outside of my prison discussions. Um, I'm not prejudiced. I'm not a bigot. Just for the record, I'm cool with black people. Cool with Hispanic people. Cool with everybody. Um, for the most part. Anyways, yeah. Have a good evening, and I will holler at y'all later. Peace out, bitches.